Ladies and gentlemen, however you are listening, wherever you are listening, thank you so much. This is the Pile on podcast, where we love football and hate your opinion. My name is Donnie Drew, and today I'm joined by my co-host, Skylar Burkhart.
We talking football?
Yes, sir, we are. Also joined by my other co-host, filling in for Richard Bradshaw, is going to be Austin Frizzoco.
What's up?
A friend of the podcast joining us yet again. Is this episode number 3?
This is like 5.
Man, might as well have an open chair for you now, man. Let's make it a 4-man podcast.
He has more appearances than the Packers have wins.
Wow.
All right, this is Austin Frizzoco signing off on the PTP podcast.
Got a really good NFL episode ahead today for you guys. If you haven't already, check out our college football episode that also dropped alongside this. Episodes come out every Wednesday in the afternoon time. Check us out on Twitter at the PTP Podcast. Austin, if you want to stop staring down Skylar, actually stare down at your phone, check us out on Instagram, the PTP Podcast as well. Want to go ahead and email us any questions, comments, concerns. Want to send, maybe a death threat to Skylar from an anonymous email at the PTP Podcast at gmail.com. Any of that kind of stuff is welcome.
iTunes, Spreaker, we're all there.
Yes, sir, we are.
Don't forget to leave a review as well, especially if you enjoyed listening.
5-star reviews, please and thank you.
Only
4 stars? Yeah, we won't take it. 4 stars, get out of here. Recapping Week 5 of NFL action, the Patriots take care of the Colts on Thursday Night Football, 38-24. The Patriots kind of getting their groove back a little bit. We'll see how they go. They've actually faced the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football next week. The Bills top the Titans 13-12. The Steelers blow the Falcons out. Limit Julio Jones to no catches through the first 3 quarters, 41-17. Jets take care of the Broncos 34-16 behind Isaiah Crowell's 217 yards. I think he averaged like 15 yards a carry. That's
Broncos
He
team
had
so
270
much.
plus yard touchdowns, and if you guys have seen Isaiah Crowell, he is a big boy.
man.
To see him scramble for 70 plus.
The Chiefs beat the talking Jalen Ramsey's 30-14 at Arrowhead. The Lions take care of the Packers 31-23. The Browns defeat the Ravens in a high-scoring 12-9 affair. That was fun if you wanted to take a nap.
What a good game, though.
The Panthers take care of the Giants 33-31. Bengals beat the Dolphins 27-17. Chargers beat the Raiders 26-10. The Arizona Cardinals, Josh Rosen gets his first dub of the season, 28-18 over the 49ers.
Bakers was his first official dub.
That's right, yeah. Very true. Vikings beat the Eagles 23-21. Rams barely, looking at you, Skyler, barely get over the Seahawks 33-31. Texans, what a Sunday night game. It's about time one of those games actually delivered. 19-16. Texans over the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. And to recap Week 5, Saints at Redskins. Drew Brees broke the all-time passing record.
Legend.
And Manning, right. 43-19 over a very underrated Redskins team going into that game.
They were 3-1 going in there, and the Saints wallywalked them.
Yeah, the Saints team, it's about time they've looked like the Super Bowl contenders we all thought they were.
Mark Ingram, question mark?
Yeah. It might have been Mark Ingram resurging.
Their pass rush was great that game. That's what really got them over the top.
They put him in a hole really early. That's why.
Mm-hmm. So out of the slate of games we just read, there were a lot of good ones. What do you guys think was the best out of Week 5?
Ooh, the best game out of Week 5, I would probably say for enjoyment, viewing-wise, I like seeing Drew Brees break the record.
Okay, I'll take that.
I'm not going to disagree with them because that was a great game. I was tweeting out during that game, nothing but respect to Drew Brees, and that was almost perfect game for him. He only missed 2 passes. Awesome game to watch. But my game, which if Richie was here, very upset, but the Cleveland Browns in overtime beat the Baltimore Ravens. That was one hell of a game.
For sure, yeah. So I actually have 2 games of the week. Just if I was like a casual NFL viewer and you told me to pick one game to suggest to somebody, I would have directed you towards the Panthers-Giants game. It's got a lot of star power in it. Saquon Barkley, Odell Beckham Jr., Cam Newton. It's a fairly high-scoring game. Came down to a 63-yard field goal as time expired from Graham Gano, which still had room left for it, by the way. He could have easily made it from 65, 66.
Oh, yeah, he could have broke the record.
Oh, for sure. So, yeah, that was definitely an entertaining game. The game I had circled, though, was definitely the Chiefs-Jaguars game. I wanted to see these 2 teams finally meet against each other, and it was a 16-point game, but I do think it was a well-fought game for both sides.
It was. Just Blake Bortles didn't perform as well as he would have liked, definitely. he kind of killed the game for him.
You just never know what Blake Bortles you're going to get from week to week.
He pegged his offensive lineman in the back of the skull on the goal line at the end of the first half. When you see that happen, and you see the Chiefs get a huge break like that, you knew it was going to go downhill from there, because then it gets into Bortles' head, and that offense sputters, and then that defense can only do so much with being on the field every down.
Right, yeah, and a lot of people were hyped over that Tyreek Hill Jalen Ramsey matchup, and I think it definitely delivered as well. We didn't see a terrible amount of production from either Hill or Ramsey, but it was definitely fun watching them jaw back and forth towards each other.
I would have liked to have seen Tyreek get in the end zone.
Oh yeah, catch a slant pass and then throw up the deuces to Jalen.
Yeah, that'd been great television right there.
So we're going to go into our injury roundup. So news actually broke of this yesterday. Jay Ajayi, a torn ACL, out for the remainder of the season for the Eagles. I got to sort of Redskins for you guys coming off the Monday night game. So Chris Thompson, Paul Richardson, and Adrian Peterson, they're going to be day by day going into next week. Thompson had a rib injury. Paul Richardson, something with his knee. And I don't know if you two saw this. Adrian Peterson dislocated his shoulder, popped it back into place, and returned to the game.
See, I wonder why he was on the sideline for so long, and that makes sense to what happened, because I didn't catch that.
He's an animal.
Yeah, he definitely is. So monitor them day by day. We'll see what their availability is moving into next week. Austin Seferian-Jenkins also hit the IR. He's done for the year with a core muscle injury.
They think he's going to be able to come back, though.
Really? Mm-hmm. Interesting. Hopefully, man.
They think he'll be eligible to return.
Leonard Fournette has already been ruled out for week 6.
Wow.
That nagging lower body injury, man. It's really starting to get to it. Was it a hamstring or groin?
Yeah,
it's a hamstring. I think they rushed him back 2 weeks ago.
Good deal. And then last but not least, the Giants, in terms of the Thursday night game coming up this week, both Evan Ingram and Olivier Vernon both expected back for Thursday night football against the Eagles. The Giants really need to help, man, especially on defense with Vernon coming back. So
even the Rams with 2 concussions as well, with Cooper Kupp and Brandon Cooks, both got it towards the end of the game, but look day to day and should be coming back for this week.
Yeah, so
T.Y. Hilton's also slated to be making progress. He was a Thursday scratch for the Thursday night game last week. I think he has got a good chance to play this week.
Good deal. Yeah, I didn't see him on any of the injury reports, so I'll have to go back and double check.
They haven't practiced officially yet.
Okay.
He'll be on the Wednesday report.
Good deal. So let's go ahead. Let's go back to the Giants, because I do want to talk about, I mentioned it earlier, Odell Beckham Jr. I don't know if you two caught the comments he made about his teammates. It was an interview he did with ESPN that aired Sunday morning, like last Sunday morning before the games. Let it all out. Was kind of, made some sly comments about, the play calling, everything from, not getting the ball enough to how his quarterback, can't throw it down the field. And it caused a lot of stir. There's a lot of controversy behind the comments. I've seen both sides on social media. I've seen people take the sides of the player. I've seen people take the sides of the organization. So I just want to break this down with you guys for a little bit. What do you guys make of not even Odell, but just like the comments he made, and whether or not you think a star player should be kind of putting himself in that position?
I don't agree with how he handled those comments. I feel like he just got paid. He's supposed to be a veteran presence and a leader in that locker room.
Right, yeah. If you're going to pay him, you want him to step up in these kind of situations. The Giants are 1-3, now 1-4. Mm-hmm. If I'm paying you this money, I'm paying you to not only be one of the best receivers in the game, I'm paying you to be a leader. Mm-hmm. But, where do you draw that line?
Well, that is something that he should have handled in the locker room. He should have handled with his coaches privately before taking that next step. I could understand if he's been talking to his teammates, talking to his coaches, and they are not doing anything about it. I can understand then going to the public because then there's no more hiding behind that shadow. But at the same time, you now have players that are like, well, I don't like you now, Odell. I could care less about you.
Right.
I mean, he's not essentially, but kind of slightly threw his QB under the bus publicly.
Slightly. I think he dragged him out into the street and kind of put fish bait around and wait for the bus to stroll over him.
Well, if you listen to the rest of it, he says he can still throw the ball accurately and everything. He takes a shot at him not being mobile, which Eli Manning has never been a mobile quarterback.
Yeah, he's never been that kind of guy.
And then he also he basically says, "Wait, we never throw the ball over 20 yards," which is at Eli and Pat Shurmur, because Pat Shurmur's the play caller. Like I said, I think they should have handled this behind closed doors. And if Odell really had this much of an issue, instead of signing his extension, he should have waited out this season, see how everything played, and then decide if he wanted to sign his extension or not.
I mean, I kind of disagree on that just because I think it's at this point you start putting publicly out your frustration. I think he handled it pretty well because he could have laid into Eli Manning and the rest of the organization. And how he came about it, he was kind of forced the answer. If you listen to the interview, she kind of prodded and kept asking, and he finally gave out the answer. But you can't ignore the fact that Eli Manning is playing piss poor and can't throw the football 20 yards down the field. This is an explosive offense that needs to get down the field, and we know Pat Shermer is a good offensive coordinator, so it all comes down to Eli Manning, what he can and can't do.
They can't block for Eli, though, man. Like, they just released Eric Flowers, their former 9th overall pick that they took right in front of Todd Gurley.
Good riddance.
Yeah, he was horrible. I mean, they have no... How can you throw the ball more than 20 yards down the field if you can't block them to get your receivers more than 20 yards down the field?
But you've heard the West Coast offense where you can go and take a 3-step drop and you're throwing the ball. I mean, there's different plays and styles you can incorporate for a bad offensive line to make them look better.
Right, but that plays exactly into what I was saying. They have to do those 3-step drops. They can't throw the ball over 20 yards down the field because they don't have enough time.
But they can't.
If a 3-step drop is going to be an 8 to 10 yard curl or a slant.
Yeah.
Like not a quick slant, but a slant or a short post.
I'm telling you, they could do it. You get Barkley back there to do some blocking for you. That gives you a little bit more time, maybe enough for a 5-step drop, and you can launch it to Odell.
The problem is that if you want him to take a 3-step drop and then bomb it down towards Odell, what teams are going to do is that they're going to do what they've been doing all year, and it's playing Odell in man coverage and then having a single high safety over him. Mm-hmm. They've had a safety spying on Odell most of the year. That's just how teams play Odell now. And, it's why Saquon Barkley's been doing so well in the passing game is that, hey, let's keep everything in front of us. We'll sacrifice Saquon Barkley, getting, little dump off passes. We'll trust our guys to get to the football if that means cutting off Odell deep.
I mean, there's plenty of linemen on the market as well. You got to go pick up someone better than what you have. I mean, this is a piss poor Giants line that definitely could be remodeled right now.
It is, but at the same time, Odell needs to realize he's the face of a franchise, and you definitely don't want your face of the franchise going out. And can anybody tell me why Lil Wayne was with him?
Nope.
No, that's a good question.
You just don't want your guys to be put in that scenario where anything they can say will be taken and used against them. But he's got the right message. Eli is not playing very well. The Giants are doing a terrible job offensively. I mean, they have guys like Odell, Saquon, Eli Manning's still a capable quarterback. I understand the line. I understand the line still has issues, but Eli's still able to throw the football. You have all of this firepower around you, especially when you get Evan Ingram back. And Sterling Shepard's a great slot receiver.
Yes, he is.
There's no reason for this Giants offense not to be producing, and they're not. And a little bit of that plays into getting a guy like Saquon Barkley. You're not going to draft him number 2 overall and not use him.
Yeah.
So if you kind of want to play with the dominoes and put them up the fall, his production's going to drop a little bit. But that's a sacrifice that comes with winning. And even in the interview, Odell said, "Hey, I care about winning more than my stats. Why are you complaining about not getting 20 targets a game then?"
Because he thinks that if he gets 20 targets, he's going to help them win. But like I said, though, my biggest thing is not what he said. It's how he said it.
Yeah, I would have much preferred that he went behind closed doors. And maybe he did. We don't know.
Well, did you listen to Pat Shermer's interview after the game?
No.
Oh.
Tell me.
They tried to entice Pat Shermer to talk about that, and they said we handled that. With the locker room handled that. The coaching staff handled that behind closed doors, and everything is done behind closed doors.
As it should be.
If you want anything else, you talk to Odell. He's a grown man. Is specifically what he said.
All right. Wow.
Yeah, he was not being enticed, like you said, Skylar, to answer that question. He was not doing it, and that's what Odell should have done with any questions that, if you even think that this might be bad PR, don't answer it.
If I had to kind of sum it up, I would just say right message, wrong messenger.
Yes.
That's how I'd sum it up.
I mean, Pat Shermer could have came out and said, that's something we're going to talk about, or we have been talking about, and finding ways to get Odell the ball and get the ball down the field. I mean, he definitely could have came out and said that, but he kept it locked tight. So I think Shermer should have been the messenger, but a little bit more open in the media with those kind of words and not just been locked down. At least let the media know they're trying.
Nope, that's a locker room. That was a locker room talk, and you don't let people know what happens in your locker room.
Exactly. That'll definitely be something of note to keep tabs on moving forward. But moving on, Jay Ajayi, we kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, torn ACL out for the season. There's been a whole bunch of rumors about the Eagles being interested in Le'Veon Bell since the day he's, quote, been on the market. With the Ajayi injury of him going on IR, it was very interesting. Fletcher Cox had his deal restructured to create $6.5 million in cap space for the Eagles. Do you think the Eagles should go after Le'Veon Bell?
Nope.
I even saw reports saying that they haven't even called about Le'Veon Bell and they're not even interested.
Well, what's interesting, and I brought this up to you before the podcast, Skyler, is that the Eagles inquired about LaShawn McCoy from the Buffalo Bills. So that does tell me they're looking for some running back help.
They're definitely in the veteran running back market.
Yeah, I just don't think they're willing to, A, pay the price for a guy like Le'Veon Bell, or B, give up the assets to get Le'Veon if there's a possibility to be able to get him for free whenever he hits the free agent market.
Why didn't he get Jamal Charles? That could have been an option, and Jacksonville picked him up. It fits their style of offense.
They have Corey Clement and Wendell Small with their...
And Darren Sproles.
Yeah, and Darren Sproles, but Darren Sproles is still getting healthy.
Yep.
I feel like they shouldn't get Le'Veon for the sole purpose of a second-round pick and a quote-unquote good player. I don't know what you would justify as a good player.
Anyone on their defensive line?
I wouldn't take Michael Bennett.
They go. They definitely had to throw in a defensive back in there.
Yeah, and a young player too.
Yeah.
Not nobody that's nearing 30.
Jalen Mills has been the name I've seen thrown around, but I don't think the Steelers will go for him.
I don't see him as a quality player though. That the Steelers are looking for type of deal. Maybe Sidney Jones.
Yeah, Sidney Jones would be nice,
but I don't think the Eagles get rid of him that quickly. He's a up and coming player, but I just don't see the Eagles giving up the capital to give him, and then also the financial responsibility for a team that last year's two backs were Ajayi and LeGarrette Blount, who I think Ajayi is still on his rookie deal, which was a fifth-round draft pick, so he's making $300,000 a year. And then you had LeGarrette Blount, who's making $1.5 million, where they're two lead backs. I just don't see them going from under $2 to $3 million to $15 million for one running back.
Yeah, I just don't think this team feels like they need a guy like Le'Veon Bell to go back to the Super Bowl.
No, I think he would fit in the locker room perfectly with what they've built.
Yeah.
But I don't see a team that just won a Super Bowl with basically a running back by committee with those two and then Corey Clement as a complementary piece to them. I don't see them mortgaging everything. Not everything, but mortgaging a good chunk of their future with an already solid present.
A good option for them could have been Alfred Blue, also from Texans. They can inquire about him. He's been doing really well for the Texans as well, catching on the backfield and also running through the tackles, averaging pretty good, decent yardage.
I actually like the McCoy option. I don't think he'd be expensive because, correct me if I'm wrong, he's 30 years old.
He is.
Yeah, I don't think he'd be an expensive get. His contract is $8 million. $8.5 million. He was the highest paid before, I think, before Dave Johnson and Gurley got inked. But he wouldn't be nearly the capital to get, nor nearly the financial. He'd be half the financial responsibility if they were to get Le'Veon Bell. And like you were saying earlier, that Le'Veon Bell, you could just wait a year and probably get him in free agency.
Yeah, so McCoy makes an average annual salary of $8 million per year, according to SpotTrack.com, so you were right about that. And more so, kind of adding on to that issue, why would you trade for a rental? You're not guaranteed Le'Veon Bell past 2018. Who says Le'Veon doesn't want to sign with you? Maybe he doesn't want to run with the Eagles. Maybe he wants to go out to San Francisco or go to New York.
Who says Le'Veon doesn't even sign his franchise tender?
Exactly. You
could give all that capital and never even see him touch the field.
There's just too many unknowns to trade for that kind of guy, given the talent he has. It's a little bit too cloudy for someone to go ahead and take a risk like that. But man, I was prepared to debate with you guys. I was hoping one of you guys would have said yeah, but
I never thought it was a good idea. They didn't have the money, and to move that kind of money usually means cutting a player, not moving a contract around. So.
Well, speaking of teams that are run really well, we're going to talk about two, the Rams and the Chiefs. are the last two remaining undefeated teams in the NFL. These teams are actually slated to meet in Week 11 in Mexico City, which would be a phenomenal game, I think. So my question to you, gentlemen, is out of the Rams and the Chiefs, which team do you believe loses first?
I'll let Skyler go first since he's a Rams fan.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I think the Chiefs are going to lose first just because of their defense. I mean, they have a great... If you want to answer yours, let me look at the schedule and I can tell you when. Because I thought it was going to be this last week against Denver. And they... the week before. Yeah, the 2 weeks ago, I thought it was going to be against Denver. And they came out close, and Mahomes pulled off that great performance at the end. So, I mean, they do struggle, but I'm about to look at the schedule and see when the next one is.
You do that. I'll answer my question. With Skyler's hateful speech towards the Packers, I'm sure you guys think I'm going with the Rams. But, however, I'm going to go with the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are actually going to lose this upcoming Sunday against New England.
Ooh. Okay, yeah.
I think they lose on Sunday Night Football in a very good game.
So, if you're making me put money on anything that's going to happen this year, I think there's a good possibility the Chiefs and Rams go undefeated and meet each other in Week 11. I think that's what's going to happen. The Chiefs definitely have a couple roadblocks in their way. They do play against at New England this Sunday night. They also have to go and take on
the Bengals.
Yeah, they play the 4-1 Bengals. No, not here.
Nope.
So look at their schedule to kind of answer your question real quick. They could lose the next 4 games.
The Chiefs could.
The Chiefs could. Patriots, Bengals, Broncos, Browns. I know everyone says Browns, but Browns have the number 2 defense in the league.
Browns are no joke anymore.
And it's going to be in Cleveland as well.
Yeah, so these next 4 games, they could go on a little tear right there of 0-4 right there. So this is something to watch for if you're a Chiefs fan.
Yeah, I think in these next 4 weeks are going to, in addition to these past 2 weeks, are going to be Mahomes' coming out party to show if he's really the Aaron Rodgers-esque QB that we've seen the first 4 weeks with those 14 touchdowns to no picks, or if he's just Alex Smith. Because look at what Alex Smith did last year, the first 6 weeks, and then fell off a cliff after that fact. But
I don't know if the Rams schedule is like a cakewalk either. They play at Denver after nearly pulling out the win in Seattle. And then they go at San Francisco, and I think they'll handle business in that game.
Easily.
They play Green Bay,
Loss.
And I don't care like who they're playing. I don't care what their record is. As long as Aaron Rodgers is healthy, I'll take the Packers.
They're also coming off their bye week.
True. And then before they play Kansas City, they are at New Orleans. Then they play Seattle again. I think there's definitely a loss in the balance somewhere in the next couple games for them. But I just think the Chiefs are more prone to lose given their schedule and kind of given their current state of the defense. Granted, the Chiefs just beat a really good Jaguars defense, and the Rams just barely pulled off a win against the not good Seahawks team.
So, where my losses, if we wanted to go Rams, their first losses would either be the Packers or be the Saints. I projected them at 14-2 for my article guess, and those are the 2 games I was watching out for. I wasn't worried about Seattle. Definitely not worried about San Francisco.
You better worry about Seattle.
Yeah, you better worry about Seattle now.
I wouldn't be. They're going to make adjustments. I mean, they had a horrible game, and they still won.
Seattle will make adjustments, too.
The Lions are a good team. Not worried about them. Bears, depends on their pass rush. I'm not worried about the Eagles. I don't know what people are saying about the Eagles, thinking this is still a playoff team. They ain't playing like it. So I'm not worried about the Eagles either.
They just played Minnesota, who was by most experts picked as one of the top 2 NFC teams going into the season, and lost by 2 points, and that's with Jay Ajayi fumbling on the 10-yard line going in for a touchdown and giving Linval Joseph a 65-yard fumble return for a touchdown. They lost by 2. And Carson Wentz is still getting back into shape because it was his 3rd game back.
But there's also Vikings defense is playing one of the poor in the league. I mean, they've every week just been piss poor. They're not getting pressure. They're not playing very well, but outside of Kendall Hunter. Is that right?
Daniel Hunter.
Daniel Hunter. There you go.
That's it. I should say. Excuse me.
I know. Yeah, I heard that this week, and I was like, oh, I've been saying that wrong for a while. But outside of those 2 teams, Packers and Saints, I don't see a confident loss with the rest of them. Those are the 2 teams I'm worried about.
You best believe you're getting a loss Sunday night.
I can't wait to have you that in a week.
For those who don't know, Austin Rizzoco is a very diehard Green Bay Packer fan.
Extremely diehard.
Extremely. So I think we all enjoyed the UFC fights over the last weekend. Shout out to Richie for hosting us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Richie.
It was one of the better nights that we've had. So thank you again for having all of us over. I didn't get the outcome we wanted. Khabib beat McGregor. We were all cheering for McGregor at the party. But it kind of got us thinking, and this is actually Richie's idea for their podcast this week. What would be your ultimate NFL fight card?
So how many fights do come out on UFC? Is it 3 or 4?
It just depends, to be honest.
So let's say 3.
Yeah, I did 3. I did 3 on my card. Do you want me to go first?
Go ahead.
All right.
I might have the same ones as you.
Okay, probably. Yeah, probably. There's a select few. So my opening fight was going to be Jalen Ramsey versus AJ Green. I definitely want to see round 2 of that, especially after all the trash talk Ramsey talked to the Green post game. My second fight on the card was going to be Andre Johnson versus Cortland Finnegan. That was actually like a really good one. All right, and then number 1, I think it's without a question the headlining fight. It's going to be Aqib Talib and Michael Crabtree.
Yep.
2 chains. I love watching them play just because they hate each other so much. So much.
I would have. Most recently, I would put my opening match being Tyreek Hill versus Jalen Ramsey. I feel like they could go at it.
Yeah. Okay.
That would be a tall, lengthy guy against the speed demon, fast punch Tyreek Hill. My number 2 was actually going to be the your number 1, which was
Talib Crabtree.
Talib Crabtree. Yes,
sir.
Just because I feel like we've seen it so much. I don't know. They never really went at it like my number 1 went at it, and that was your number 2, Cortland Finnegan and Andre Johnson.
So you're looking for a fight?
Oh, a fight.
A fight.
Oh,
okay.
yeah. I'm talking like bloody. And those 2 dudes had a ref not intervene. Dude, Johnson was throwing down some haymakers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good deal.
That would be my number 1 fight.
So my number 1 fight would be...
No. Your number 3 fight. You gotta build up to it.
Gotta build up to it?
Yeah.
I have my first fight as Odell versus Norman. Let's get it going with a good fight right off the bat. A lot of punches, a lot of smack talking. Kind of like how McGregor did during the fight. Next up, I'm going to have Johnson versus Finnegan. I mean, that was a great fight. Just pulled off the helmet and started beating the snot out of him. I want to see a good old fight.
And then Cortland got up and started clapping like he actually did something.
Yeah, right. It's like, you just got your butt.
Yeah, he's got your face pounded. What are you doing,
in a football game.
Like, Johnson just sitting there as a monster, just like, I'll come back for you.
Hey, Johnson was a physical freak.
Yeah, he was, man.
I want to see, as my headliner, Crabtree versus Talib, but I want Crabtree coming in there with a ton of chains on him. Just like, what's up? And then Talib just gets all red hot and rips off his shirt and just starts beating the living piss out of him.
After he rips off all those chains.
Yeah,
exactly. Just tackles on the ground, starts ripping it off.
That's by far my favorite nickname in the NFL. Two chains. Yeah.
Because he had to do it not once, but twice. Does Baltimore play St. Louis by chance?
They did in the preseason, but they don't this season? No, they do not. I'm sorry.
No, round 3.
It's all good.
But Sleeve's on IR anyways, isn't he?
Yeah. He's starting to come back later in the year, though.
Is he on IR? I thought he was just on the injury.
He got put on IR.
Okay.
How about a surprise fight for you guys, though?
Okay.
Ooh.
Khalil Mack versus John Gruden.
John Gruden's gonna fight him. Then after in the post game press conferences, you'd be like, "Yeah, it's really hard to find a fighter around here."
Yeah, nobody wants to fight me.
Yeah, nobody wants to fight me. And a bar a couple weeks before that, he was like, "We're gonna fight Khalil Mack," and then everybody went crazy.
And like Reggie McKenzie's like, "Oh, I'll fight you, John. You're getting fired at the end of this year anyway. Shut up."
Another surprise fight: Leonard Fournette versus a healthy hamstring.
Oh, okay.
Poor Leonard Fournette.
And then my surprise fight, I guess, a tag team duel between Odell Beckham, Sterling Shepard versus the kicking net and the bench.
He beat the hell out of that friggin' bench, too.
Yeah, he did, man. I was like, dude, that's gotta hurt, dude.
He flung his hand like I thought he broke it. I was in there, I was like, damn, okay.
You see Odell go up to him like, hey, man, that's just a bench. And then Sterling's like, man, you kicked a net.
Yeah. But I married the net, okay? I worked through my problems.
Watch Shepard go and do something stupid with the bench next time he scores.
Please.
Next time he scores, watch.
All right, so moving forward to Week 6 action in the NFL. The Eagles take on the Giants on Thursday Night Football. Who do we got?
Eagles.
I'll take the Eagles as well.
You know what? I want to take the Giants this one. I think they're going to get their offense back on track, and they're going to beat the Eagles this week.
Yeah, we'll see. The Eagles' defense definitely has it hasn't been up to the Super Bowl level they were playing at last year, that's for sure.
Their offense was on track last week. It scored over 30 points.
Yeah.
You can't be upset by putting up 30 points and blaming the offense at that point.
They need to look better, but from what we've seen in previous years, they can get in a score in a hurry.
It took like 28 games to break 30 points.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So, yeah, their offense, I'd say, did a lot better than recently.
Buccaneers at Falcons. Jameis Winston makes his return to the field.
Falcons going to stomp on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Jameis is going to have a good game, so I think the Buccaneers are going to come out on top.
Okay. I'll take the Falcons. I don't think they're going to stomp on them like you think they are, Skyler.
It's just not the same Buccaneers team with Winston, and you know that. I mean, which Winston are we going to get this game? That's the big question.
We'll see. Panthers at Redskins.
Redskins.
It's going to be Panthers. Cam Newton, Christian McCaffrey are going to go off on a nice little tear because McCaffrey's putting up great numbers.
Yeah, I take the Panthers as well. Redskins are decimated by injuries. I kind of want to wait to see who's healthy and who's not.
That's true.
Seahawks at Raiders.
Seahawks.
I'll take the Raiders at home.
I'm going to take the Raiders, too.
I'll take the Raiders at home.
So you're all on the Raiders, huh?
Yeah.
Man, I do miss him on the NFL Countdown. Chris Berman.
Yep, shout out.
I think Derek Carr's a good game. He's quietly been having a good season after the first game's been iffy. He hasn't had a bad season.
The game we're all looking forward to, of course, is the Colts-Jets matchup.
Oh, my God, the best matchup of the week.
Oh, my take the Colts. Healthy Andrew Luck's getting better and better every week.
If he has T.Y. Hilton, I'll take the Colts. If not, I'm going to take the Jets.
I can agree with that because Colts definitely need wide receiver help. I agree.
I have nothing outside of Andrew Luck.
As a wide receiver, you mean T.Y.
Anything.
I'm going to say the Jets. I think Darnold's going to have a good performance this week against a kind of middle-of-the-road defense for Indianapolis.
Middle of the road?
Middle of the road.
End of the road. Cardinals at the Vikings.
I'll take the upset. I'll take the Cardinals.
No way.
I'll take Minnesota at home.
I'm taking Minnesota at home.
Buffalo went into Minnesota and beat the bejeebies out of them.
Yeah, but this is a really stacked defense. Hopefully they play better.
You just said
it's a stacked defense, but they haven't been playing
Are you
well.
going to keep contradicting yourself?
No, they are a stacked defense. I said earlier they're not playing well at all, but they do have so much talent, but it's not playing well.
And I think that continues.
Just because you're a Packers fan doesn't mean you got to hate on the Vikings, okay?
I'm not. I give them. I said at the beginning they were expected to be a top 2 team in the NFC. I will give credit where credit is due all
So I think this is the week they're going to start playing like it.
I'll take the Vikings. Moving on. Steelers at Bengals.
Don't want to let me have some fun.
I
will take the Bengals.
I'm going to take the Bengals, too.
All right, I'll take the Bengals as well. I just don't think the Steelers quite have it down
If
pat
they
yet,
lose
especially with that defense.
out of the playoffs, is that right?
No.
No.
We'd still be 3 games behind the division with a lot of football left.
And the AFC's weak. They always fall apart.
But
at
the
end of the
Bengals
season.
only have lost one. Is it one game?
They're 4-1.
Did 4-1.
They came back and beat Miami.
They'd be 5-1.
Who saw that? Who would have said
Nobody.
Bengals are going to be 5-1?
Nobody in Cincinnati saw that.
Excuse me. Nobody even in
Show
Cincinnati
me a
saw that.
Bengals fan that said they were going to be 5-1, and I'll show you a liar.
Ocho Cinco.
Chargers at the Browns.
This is a tough one,
man.
dude.
This is. I'll take the Browns.
At the Browns?
Yeah, it's in Cleveland.
I'll take Cleveland. Let Hugh Jackson triple his win production in one season.
Dude, good for him, man. That's money right there.
I'm gonna take the Chargers. I think Philip Rivers can have a good game, even though it's a good defense play against. Don't get me wrong. Philip Rivers actually does pretty well against good defenses. He's very smart with the ball. I think Philip Rivers can have a good day today.
I just wish the Chargers had Bosa back, man. That defense
need him.
is a shell of itself without him.
It's weird how that one player, even though they have a really good defense, but just losing him really changes it.
Yeah.
It's that pass rush.
It really is.
Bills at Texans.
Texans.
I'll take the Texans as well. The Bears at the Dolphins.
See, this is actually an underrated game because Miami actually has a good defense. Their offense is hot and cold. The only really cold game they had was against the Patriots. Otherwise, Tannehill's been playing good ball. This could go either way, depending how the pass rush of the Bears do. but I think it's going to be the Bears in this one.
Yeah, I was about to say, this is actually a pretty big game for both teams. On one side, you have the Bears coming off a bye week. Is Mitch Trubisky for real? Like, can the Bears defense keep it up? These are all questions that, like, they're going to be answered on Sunday whenever you go to Miami. The Dolphins side of the ball, you guys started out 3-1. You dropped your last 2 games. Let's see you answer the bell. Are you the same old Dolphins we've seen every year, or is Ryan Tannehill actually needs a quarterback? These are all questions that are going to be answered.
Are you actually going to use your best weapon? And that's Kenyon Drake.
Yep.
They're like, we're going to split carries, but Frank Gore isn't getting it done. You need to get Kenyon Drake the ball, and you need to do it every way possible.
Rams.
I didn't even call that game.
You were quiet, man.
I was letting you guys talk. Anyways,
Thank you.
Devontae Parker, I don't know if you guys saw it or not, he's on the trade block. I'm going to go with Chicago in this one because they're coming off their bye week. I feel like they're going to make Tannehill make some mistakes, but Chicago's got a gauntlet after that because they had such an early bye week. They're going to have to really keep it together if they want to have a chance to take home the NFC crown.
Yeah, I didn't get to make my predictions, but I'll go Chicago too.
Did you see that actually in some power polls, Chicago's number 2?
That's too high.
Really?
It's because of their schedule. They're not going off the metrics that most power polls do, where it's like, your wins, whatever. It's going against the rest of your schedule and some other statistics. And the Bears rank number 2. Ben Albright actually writes it.
Interesting. Rams at the Broncos.
I'm going to go with the Broncos.
Yeah, I'll that's actually going to be my upset of the week. I'll go with the Broncos over the Rams.
Even though I thought the Chiefs were going to lose first, I'm going to go just a gut feeling.
Now, granted, I think the Rams are going to win by 17 realistically, but if this is my upset of the week, Broncos over Rams.
So, you know me, I'm going to pick the Rams. This was not a game I was worried about. Granted, the Broncos do have a good pass defense. The rush defense is terrible, though. Todd Gurley's going to have a great game this week and run just like Isaiah Crowell did in the last game. So
this is true. I'm going with the Rams.
So, yeah, Rams, I think, by 17.
I'm taking Rams. I'm switching.
Okay. Ravens at the Titans. Actually, no, I'll switch to. I'll take the Rams as well. Ravens at Titans.
So you're going to hop on the bandwagon then, huh?
Yeah,
I'm driving
just like everyone else.
I'm driving the bandwagon. What's up? I'm taking the Titans.
You said Ravens at Titans?
Yes, sir.
This is a good game. This is another game I'm going to be watching.
This is going to be another 12-9 game.
Yep.
I don't know, man. If Flacco plays like Flacco this season, I think the Ravens win.
I want to see Mariota play ball. And if he plays ball and they get friggin' Derrick Henry the ball and start actually using him right, Titans can win this game.
Well, he played ball 2 weeks ago. Look what happened. He had a phenomenal game a couple weeks ago.
Look what?
Came out last week and laid a friggin' goose egg, man.
Who?
Derrick Henry.
Oh, Mariota.
Mariota.
I was going to say, I thought you said Derrick Henry. I was like, what? Derrick Henry hasn't had
If
anything.
they get Derrick Henry the ball in his hands and get the ball churning and Mariota shows up, this is an easy win for the Titans. I mean, even against Jimmy Smith, on the Baltimore Ravens, Mariota's pretty smart with the ball as long as he shows up. But I think it's going to be, just like Austin said, a close game, Tennessee.
Jaguars at the Cowboys.
Jaguars.
I'll take the Jacksonville Jaguars as well.
I'm going to say Jaguars, too. I think it's going to be a closer game than most people think, though. Just which Bortles are we going to get? Because the Dallas Cowboys actually have a really good passing defense. So this is going to rely on Jacksonville's run. So Jamal Charles is going to play a big factor in this.
I don't think Jamal Charles plays a big factor. I think it's TJ Yeldon.
TJ Yeldon's going to. I think he's in the injury report. I think he had like a nagging little injury. Nothing big, but I know Jamal Charles is going to get carries, and let's see what he does.
He's going to basically take Corey Grant's spot and going to be the pass catcher out of the backfield.
He's good at doing it, though, so we'll see.
So this is personally my game of the week. Chiefs vs. the Patriots on Sunday Night Football.
Same here.
Who we got?
Oh, I already told you Patriots.
Skyler.
I think it's the Pats. I think, even though the Pats defense it's been better than last year, but it's still kind of iffy. I think Patriots and Tom Brady. I think my hot take of this, Josh Gordon 100 yards.
Okay. I'll take the Chiefs. But I just think that offense survived that 60-minute gauntlet of the Jaguars defense. Granted, they're going to Gillette Stadium, but it's not snowing. It's not that time of year yet. I'll trust Andy Reid to find ways to get all his playmakers open on that side of the ball.
Quick question for you guys. Is Tom Brady regressing?
No.
That's been a question this year. I've seen it brought up from how he's been playing. Has he regressed, or is he just normal?
I just think it's... He's old. He's older. He's 40. Yeah, the decline in plays is inevitable. that he wasn't going to keep up his Super Bowl MVP caliber play forever. To say he's like regressing at like a solid rate, no. I just think the Patriots are, for once, being outplayed by other teams. I think that's kind of what we saw early in the season, but they're starting to pick it back up, and Brady's been phenomenal the last 2 weeks. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't ask that question in the first 6 weeks because you got teams that are...
Dude, it's the same story every year. The Patriots lose a game or two, and you're like, oh, is this the year? Is Brady regressing? And then Brady's like, no.
I've been waiting for you to ask me that.
Remember, they make adjustments. Mm-hmm. They start to get in sync because, let's be honest, nobody really tries during preseason, and so therefore you have nothing but miscommunications, off timings, and just straight up rust by teams. I think that's a question you want to ask at the end of a season, not at the beginning of a season.
And Edelman's back too, so that's only going to make him better.
And they got Josh Gordon, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they had Chris Hogan was their best receiver, who if Chris Hogan went to another team, would he be anybody's number one wide receiver?
No.
Exactly.
Be nice number 2, though.
Yeah, he'd be a guy.
He'd be a complimentary number 2, yeah.
All right, 49ers at Packers round up our week 6.
Slaughtering in the Packers.
This is going to be a Packers slaughtering the 49ers. I mean, this would be a closer game if it was Jimmy G there, but let's be honest here, San Francisco ain't got it.
All right, give me your cold hard lock of the week.
Packers.
Okay.
Rams.
Okay. I got, I said Aaron Rodgers gets the team back on track. Packers win by at least 15.
Yeah, that pass defense is horrible for the Niners. And
Swiss cheese.
I actually, dude, I had this as one of the games to watch during the season.
Well, we all thought so with Jimmy G and Kyle Shanahan, but I'm not ready to push away the 49ers just yet. Beathard's been playing okay, and you got to trust your play calling and Kyle Shanahan as well. Pretty much the only bright spot on that team has been George Kittle in the last couple of weeks, but I don't know.
That dude is playing like a Gronk right now.
I want to give him time.
Running game. Don't forget Breida was third in the league in rushing going last week.
Well, Breida's hurt this week, so Alfred Morris is going to be stepping in his role, who's played with Kyle Shanahan before.
Mm-hmm.
He's familiar with that offense, so we'll definitely see. I'm not ready to push them off the cliff just yet. Give me your upset of the week.
Ooh, upset of the week. Would the Patriots be considered an upset?
I guess so. Yeah, Chiefs are undefeated going into their house, yeah.
But the Patriots are at home. I'm going to go Patriots as the upset of the week. They're going to beat the Chiefs.
Okay. Skyler?
Upset? It'd be, like I said, Oakland versus Seattle. I think that's my upset, Oakland beating Seattle.
Okay. I'm going to go Titans over Ravens. It's not like a huge, gigantic upset, but just how good we've seen the Ravens play football this year and kind of how downhill the Titans seem to be going. I think they get it back on track this week. So, yeah, moving on to the last but certainly not least part of the fantasy football segment. Last segment of our show, the fantasy football segment. We're just going to go around the room. One start, one sit, one sleeper. Get some fantasy football help here at the Pile on podcast. Give me somebody you should start this week.
Josh Gordon.
Okay.
I think he's going up against a very poor Kansas City defense that's going to be a shootout. So I have a feeling he's going to be a guy that's going to score 20-plus in a PPR standard, or in a PPR scoring format.
Must start Jared Cook going against Seattle. He's going to have a lot of points going against Seattle. We saw the Rams kind of torch him in the passing game. I think Jared Cook's really the only big passing option in that offense. So I think he's getting a lot of targets.
So mine's actually going to be Sony Michel. I think he's kind of grabbed that lead back role in New England and going against the Kansas City defense that's been suspect at times this year, especially at the running back spot. I think Michel can definitely eat like he did Thursday night. Give me one player to sit this week.
Are we talking like running back, receiver?
Anywhere. At any spot. Quarterback, running back, receiver, tight end, flex, kicker, defense.
I would sit John Brown.
Okay. Ravens receiver, right?
Ravens receiver. I would sit him. Dory Jackson's going to be covering him. Similar type of play with speed. And I feel like it's a poor matchup for John.
Okay. Skyler?
I'm going to surprise you guys. I'm going to say Allen Robinson. I'm going to say sit him just because this is a good Miami pass defense. And they've been doing really well. And Allen Robinson's kind of a middle-of-the-road wide receiver, not doing too well. I think it's time to sit him.
Okay. We're going to go Will Fuller to 5th. Kiki Kuti's definitely stepped up as a second receiver on that team. He's getting just a lot more looks. I think he's developing a little bit more of a rapport.
I've been watching a lot of Texan games. He looks pretty good.
Yeah, dude, he looks really good. And Fuller just hasn't been getting the job done, man. It's Hopkins and everybody else, and second leading receiver on that team's been Kuti the last couple of weeks.
He's only played the last 2 weeks, dude, man.
Yeah.
Cootie the cutie, I'm telling you.
All right, one sleeper.
One sleeper. Skylar, who's your sleeper?
Why are you going to throw me on the bus? Gosh.
I'll give you mine first. I'm going to go Alfred Morris.
I don't know if he's really a sleeper, though, with...
Well, he's not a guy you're like saying, oh,
here's a guy.
He's on my team.
Shut up, Chris.
I'm starting him week to week. You know, not everybody's not really circling the Alfred Morris hype train.
I would go with, if you want a really deep sleeper, Jamal Charles.
Damn it. That was what I was going to say.
Deep.
That was literally what I was going to say.
Deep. Okay.
He can catch 4 to 6 balls out of a backfield, maybe score a tuggy.
Skyler.
I got upset because that's what I was going to say. That's why I came to the conclusion of.
And that's why Packers fans are better than Rams fans.
You know what? I'm going to put my sleeper, Derrick Henry. I think they're going to use him. Baltimore's been kind of giving up a lot on the run. I think Derrick Henry's going to have a good week this week as my deep sleeper.
There you have it. Yeah.
Very, very, very
interesting.
Yeah, it really is. Because he's not been performing well.
Yeah. All right, well, that just about wraps it up for today's show of the NFL episode. If you haven't already, go check out the college episode that'll be coming up next. If you already checked it out, phenomenal. You already got 2 episodes out of the way. Before we go, though, the timely tradition on the Pollen to Pollen podcast, the Danny Green Minute. So every week we take an episode, and at the end of the episode, we each take 1 minute, depending on who hosts the episode. Take 1 minute to rant about whatever you want. It could be about sports, politics. We refrain from that. But sports, politics, whatever it may be. This week, Skylar has the wonderful duties of doing the minute. I don't have anything I'm particularly upset about. Neither does Austin. So.
Yeah, I get the rant, but before we go, this rant is brought to you by Seat Giant. If you want to get your tickets, especially the Thursday night game versus Philly and the Giants, big rivalry game there, battle on the Meadowlands. We always love to see that. Go ahead and go on to SeatGiant.com for all your ticket needs and type in the promo code PYLON, PYLON, for all those great ticket needs.
Skylar, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Get on out. All right, 3, 2, 1, showtime.
I almost pooed myself watching the Rams in Seattle game. I cannot stress enough how I was terrified seeing that the Rams looked human. So to come out and see that our division rival Seattle put up 31 points against us is alarming. Our defense gave up way too much on defense. We paid this defense. Ndamukong Suh, we got Peters, we got Talib. Talib, of course, wasn't there, but Aaron Donald, we paid the man, and he's not playing like the man. 1 sack? Are you kidding me? This is Russell Wilson. You sack him the most in your career. Russell Wilson is terrified of you, and you only got him sacked once, and both running backs ran for 100 yards rushing. Are you kidding me? Get your act together, or we're not going to win this season and get to the Super Bowl like most teams are projecting us to go. Get it together. This is not a good team. Offense, keep doing what you're doing, though. But our defense, step it up. Peters, you screwed us. 3 touchdowns. Get your head in the game. Stop screwing us on deep throws. Quit taking chances.
That's enough. Easy.
Peters.
You sound relieved, my man.
I am. I've been kind of frustrated all week with Peters, and giving up 3 touchdowns, come on. That's going to lose this game.
Oh, don't worry. Just wait till he plays good old Devontae.
We'll have to leave by then. So,
how would you have to leave by then? He was only 5 weeks on IR.
Ooh, got him.
Miracles. Miracle happen every day.
He legally cannot play till at least 8 weeks out.
What week did that bring him back then?
Like 12?
Yeah, week 12.
So
week
the
13.
weekend. So the week out? No.
Around there.
Yeah, around there. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But until next time, like I said, episodes out every Wednesday in the afternoon time. Thanks so much for rocking with us. We really appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Austin.
Yeah. Reach out to us on social media. Austin, thank you so much for filling in for us.
No, my pleasure.
We know you're a busy man with everything you got going on in your life. I can't talk today, man. I feel like I can't talk every episode. But until next time, my name is Donnie Druin.
Skylar Burkhart.
Austin Frisoko.
And this has been the Pylon Podcast.